Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. I'm Mike Benitez. Sorry for the lack of updates lately. Sorry for the lack of videos lately. I've been having some kind of sickness over the past couple of days. But today I'm bringing you a new video. Today we'll be doing a video on a cruise ship, but not just any cruise ship. One of the best known cruise ships all around Europe, and for a good reason. We'll be talking about one of the most famous, a ship that was famous for a very tragic reason. This ship was the MS Stockholm. Let's begin the story of this notorious ship. Stockholm was built in 1948 for the Swedish American Line, a company which took people from Sweden to America and other places around the world. Stockholm was even though Stockholm was a true ship of her type, she wasn't like a very well-known ship at that time. She was the smallest ship on the North Atlantic route. However, what made her famous in her own country was that Stockholm was the largest passenger ship ever to be built by Sweden at the time. So there's some true nature with that as well. And I've got to admit, when the Stockholm was built, she looked beautiful, so designed and sleek like a yacht. Heck, she kind of looks like the Andrea Doria, but she's still pretty small. Pretty small from the Andrea Doria, but she is still very, very beautiful. Originally built to carry 394 passengers, in 1953 a refit made the ship able to carry up to 548 passengers. For most of her life with the Swedish line, Stockholm had a rather uneventful life other than that 1953 refit. However, on one cold, foggy night in 1956, everything changed for the Stockholm. Also, some key moments on the ship are quite very beautiful, as this is one of the public rooms on the ship. This is what really a true ship built in the late 1940s would have looked like. She looked magnificent, inside and outside. Heck, she even had a pool on board, and luxurious lounges. Despite being an ocean liner, the Swedish American Line just made Stockholm a practical design, because they knew that ocean liners was becoming of age, and air travel was becoming more used up now. However, due to a massive tourism surge in the 1950s, this caused that 1953 refit that upgraded the Stockholm superstructure, which was why she was able to carry 548 passengers rather than 394. Stockholm was built for comfort, not luxury. Not like a certain Italian liner. However, the refit was a success, and Stockholm had a respectful reputation up to 1956. Then everything changed. Stockholm, with her worthy reputation, was about to become even more famous. Wednesday, July 25th, 1956. Stockholm departs New York on her 103rd eastward voyage to her home port in Gothenburg. The ship was fully booked with 534 passengers and a crew of 208. With a total of 742 people aboard. She is under the command of Captain Gunnar Nordenson. Her commander, Harry Gunnar Nordenson, was a very known captain with the Swedish Swedish American Line. However, he did not know that he would be part of one of the most greatest sea rescues in the history, involving his own ship. Stockholm follows her usual course past the Nantucket lightship at 18 knots in clear skies. That night, Captain Nordensson turns in for the night, leaving third officer Johan Ernest Karstens Johansson in command of the ship. He also plots the ship in clear skies that night. Around 10 o'clock that night, third officer Johansson spots a ship on the Stockholm's radar. He plots her as safely north. Several minutes later, he plots the same ship again, still safety north. It is just after 11 o'clock p.m. on Wednesday, July 25th, 1956. Still thinking that the ship is still safely north, Johansson orders the Stockholm to turn to the south. It is a big mistake. Just a minute later, Johansson is called away to answer the phone. When he returns moments later, he faces a horrifying sight. The hull of another ship appears through the fog. Johansson orders full speed astern and a turn to starboard immediately. On the other ship, the captain orders the ship to be turned to port, trying to outrun the Stockholm. But it comes too little, too late. 11:10 p.m. It is Wednesday, 25th, 1956. The Stockholm collides 15 feet into another ship. However, this ship is no ordinary ship. The ship that Stockholm had collided with was in fact the infamous Italian ocean liner, the Andrea Doria. Passengers are killed in their staterooms instantly when the two ships colliding at each other at a combined speed of 40 knots. Captain Calamai of the Doria tried his best to try to steer away from the Stockholm, but it was no use. The Stockholm's bow is crushed, and its prow is completely destroyed. Its icebreaker prow tore into the side of the Doria. The Doria is half the time bigger than the Stockholm. However, it doesn't make a difference. The smaller Swedish ship collides with the Italian liner so badly that the Doria's wounds prove fatal. The Doria lists heavily to starboard. Captain Calamai of the Doria orders an SOS being sent out and ships to respond to the area. Nearly half the light bulbs on the Doria are literally out of use, judging by the ship's list and collision. Meanwhile, on the Stockholm, Captain Nordensson orders a full inspection of the ship. Many crew members are trapped inside the badly damaged bow section. With many ships already responding to the sinking Andrea Doria, the Captain Nordensson of the Stockholm makes a bold decision. Once he knows that his ship won't sink, he orders the Stockholm, even though badly damaged, to join the rescue effort. A brave decision. In all, Stockholm was able to rescue 327 passengers and 245 crew members of the stricken Andrea Doria, despite having its own injuries. Sadly, 11 hours later, the Andrea Doria sinks beneath the waves. The last hours of the sinking were caught on tape by the news reporters as well as the other ships. This is the last photo before the Andrea Doria sank beneath the waves. Thanks to the rescue efforts of the numerous ships arriving on the scene, everyone that died in the collision. There were 46 passengers, 46 people on the Doria, and 5 on the Stockholm. However, a huge surprise happened when a crew member of the Stockholm realized a teenage girl on board the Stockholm, where both her kneecaps were broken. This was Linda Morgan. Linda Morgan had been traveling on the Andrea Doria to visit her father to live with her father in New York with her half sister Joan, her mother, and her stepfather. Her stepfather was killed minutes after the collision, while her mother was trapped in the wreckage for hours and died on the anniversary of the sinking, while her half-sister Joan was killed immediately. Linda Morgan had suffered both kneecaps broken. She was known as the Miracle Girl, as somehow the Stockholm had scooped up the Linda Morgan and planted her on the Stockholm and took her with her, not even dragging her out into the sea, which is actually kind of surprising. However, the Linda Morgan was the luckiest of ones, as her cabin took a direct blow of the Stockholm's bow. The cause of the collision would haunt Captain Calamai and Captain Norderson for years. Following the inquiry, it was said that the Doria probably was the cause of the collision. However, years later, it would later be turned out that that Third Officer Johansson had caused the collision by making just a key mistake in his radar. He believed too much in his radar, which caused the collision. However, I don't blame him, as he was in fog at this time, and Captain Calamai did all he could to stop the collision. Now, I guess you're all wondering, what happened to the Stockholm after the collision? Was she scrapped? Nope. Stockholm was repaired and brought back into service 3 months after the collision at a cost of $1 million. In 1960, she was renamed Völkerfruendshaft. As an ocean liner sailing in the East German government, her name meant freedom between nations. She operated there until from 1960 to 1985. Then she was sold to Neptuna's Rex Enterprises, a Panamanian company. Völkerfruendshaft's name was then reduced to thus Volker. Then, by the end of the year, she was laid up in Southampton, England, as a barrack ship for asylum seekers in Oslo. And she was given a new name. In Oslo, Norway, she was called Fridtjof Nansen. Then, in 1999, the former ex-Stockholm was bought by Italian interests in 1989 and was taken to Genoa, Italy. However, this was a pretty bad decision, as Genoa was the home port of the Andrea Doria, and still everyone remembered the Stockholm for sinking the Andrea Doria. Upon arriving in Genoa, many Italian people referred to the ex-Stockholm as the ship of death. However, despite being built in 1948, and now it's 1989, she was found in remarkably good condition. She was rebuilt from the waterline up and had a more modern cruise ship design. She was now a cruise ship, not an ocean liner like she was built in 1948. The ex-Stockholm was then renamed Italia I, then Italia Prima. Then she was renamed Valtur Prima and sailed to Cuba and was laid up there in 2001. Then once again renamed Caribe and now owned by the Festival Cruise Line in 2002, she continued to sail to Cuba. In 2005, the ex-Stockholm was once again given a new name as Athena. She was then registered to Portugal in 2005. She was flagged out from International Cruise Line later that year. On December 3rd, 2008, the Athena was attacked by pirates, which surrounded the ship. However, they were unable to board the ship, and so Athena continued on her voyage without incident. In 2013, Athena was bought by from Portugal to Lines and was once again renamed, this time Azores. Azores were making a chartered cruise to Genoa, Italy in 2014, and will make many other cruises throughout 2015. The legendary Stockholm, despite being built in 1948, was able to sail on and to 2016, well over 60 years later. Now she is under a new name. From the MS Stockholm, she is now the MV Astoria. That's right, Stockholm is still around, but not as Stockholm. She is now known as Astoria, as she has been known since 2016. As of right now, Astoria is currently out of the season. However, CMV did announce that she will be making various cruises in spring and autumn of 2019, and as well as December to Mexico. So, any of you guys want to go on a ship? You have to go on Astoria. She is a ship of pure history. She was the ship that accidentally sank the Andrea Doria, but now she's still around as the MS Stockholm. As Astoria, of course. But she was known as the Stockholm back then. And instead of carrying 548 passengers, she now can carry 556 passengers. And her beautiful, luxurious interior is still magnificent, even more beautiful than she was in 1948. As of January 2016, Astoria is the world's second oldest ongoing passenger liner, other than the SS Sea Cloud, which is just a sailing ship. But trust me, a pure ship like Astoria has seen a lot of history. As Stockholm, she was known for the sinking of the Andrea Doria, which was on accident. But now Stockholm has a new life as the MV Astoria. Hopefully, they give a new life to a very classic looking ship. It amazes me how Stockholm was able to become this to this. As of this moment, Astoria is 71 years old and is still ongoing strong. If you see this video, please go on Astoria. You'll step back in history and be on one of the most beautiful ocean liners I've ever seen. She is actually one of my second favorite ocean liners. Well, second favorite cruise ships that are still around, that are still around, other than the Queen Mary. Hopefully, by listening to this video, you'll know what happened to the ship that sank the Andrea Doria, and now she has a new life as a new ship. Thank you very much for enjoying this video, and please pay respect to the Stockholm as the second oldest ocean liner in the world, a 71-year-old beauty that is still sailing the mighty waters of the Atlantic and many others around the world. I am Mike Benitez signing out on the story of the MS Stockholm, which is now known as the MV Astoria.